Welcome on a Tuesday night to Loud and Nerdy. My name is JW Colwell. Joined as always, you pointing that way? Everybody's pointing these days. My name is JW Colwell, joined as always by my cohorts in crime, my brothers from other mothers, and all kind. Well, Kyle, Defina, that's still a no, fuck off, and Jerry Kamora from the band Slapjaw, of course. This guy again. Welcome on a Tuesday. It is Oscar nomination day, so I'm happy. There's always snubs. There's always people bitching. There's always something wrong. For the most part, they got it right. They had a couple things where they, apparently either movies write themselves or movies direct themselves, or we can have nominations with Ken but no Barbie, which is the point of the movie. But then they nominate America Ferrera, who wasn't getting any love anywhere. And so it's this weird... Okay. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We also are going to talk about a guy... We have a guest next week. Very excited. We may have two guests, but we definitely have one guest next week. Dave Romeo will be coming on from Comics on the Green in Scranton to talk all of the big comic events for 2024. I put in, I don't know if you guys know about this, there's a big Thundercats book coming out on February 1st.
Nice.
That everybody is talking about, because it's basically, they're talking as two things, as a blueprint for a Thundercats movie world, and also as just a reinvention of the show. New characters, some, most of the old characters still remaining, most of the old story in place, but it's kind of like a reboot / reimagining all in one kind of felt swoop. So we're going to talk to Dave about all that event and other events coming up in comic books this year. So I made that plan today. That actually came into play earlier today. How are you guys doing? I know, Kyle, you went to a funeral. Please pass along my condolences to Missy and her family. Are you?
She's in the chat.
It was a long day. Good evening,
day.
friends. Good evening, Ken McKernan. Hi, Missy. Hi, guys. Hi, Missy. Hey, guys. Hi, Raven. How you doing? Long time no talk. So we're going to talk about Oscar nominations. We're going to also talk about the Razzie Awards, which are fucking ridiculous and kind of stupid. But we continue doing them.
More fun than the Oscars for most of us.
Yeah, but they don't they don't serve a purpose except to shit on things that tried.
Stanley Kubrick won a fucking Razzie. I mean, just let that fucking sink in. But it is. I think it's a little more fun. It's got a little bit more general mainstream appeal. The Oscars.
Well, it's got the idea that we're gonna make fun of movies that bombed. I guess, but they didn't. I don't know. I mean, it's a great monologue, but I don't think it's a winner with who she's against. Oh, she's not gonna win. Oh, no. She's not going to win Best Supporting Actress, Raven. I'm just saying it's a weird play that most of the memes I saw today. Okay, so, Barbie gets 8 nominations. Let's start with the Oscar talk. Barbie gets 8 nominations. It's nominated for picture, 2 songs. By the way, that was the most number of songs it could be nominated for. So it can only be 2 songs. It had 3 in the running. So got the 2 Oscar-nominated songs. It got Gosling as Ken. It got the Screenplay Award, where it's inadapted, which is one of the more weird things, because I guess they're considering it adapting of a brand, I guess, because it's not based on a book, or it's not based on a comic or another Barbie movie. It makes absolutely no sense that Barbie is in the adapted screenplay category. So it's not going to win there, because that category is stacked. America Ferrera is in Best Supporting Actress. It's not going to win there. That's that. It's not going to win picture. She didn't get a director nom. I think that's the one that hurts the most, because Greta Gerwig has made a bunch of really great movies, and she only gets nominated for screenwriting awards, and the movie gets nominated for Best Picture. And then it's like the movie didn't direct itself. It's a question I always have every year when we get Best Picture nominees without director nominees, and you go, did it direct itself? Did it just appear? The big one, adapted screenplay, has also one of the biggest snubs of the year, which is Killers of the Flower Moon is a huge book that got adapted by Scorsese, and it didn't get a nomination. And it's like, was it improv? Did they just make up this movie that has 10 nominations? And that's the thing. So leading nominations, of course, is Oppenheimer with 13. Poor Things has 11. Killers of the Flower Moon has 10. Barbie has 8. And then it kind of breaks down after that. But let's see what people are saying. So we got some chats, some chatty chats. Hey, I was able to go to Field today, and I still did the homework. Ask Kyle if he did the homework. He did not. Kyle, did you watch Mr. Denton on Doomsday?
No, I opted to take a poop while she was watching it.
You could have watched it the time you were going to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's not like these electronic. It's not like a TV is like a stationary object. That remember all the TVs we used to have? Like they were stationary objects that literally your parents would move them once, and then with how hard it was to move, with all the circuitry and everything in it.
You probably had one on an AV car like you were in high school, didn't you?
No, I never. No, we always had. We always had huge televisions that were like in cases. In the heavy wooden cases.
Well, we had that, but we also had the one with the ratchet strap around it, too, near the end.
I agree with that, too. So Kyle didn't do the homework. What a surprise. I was surprised she didn't get a director nod. Yeah, it's a surprise. It's weird. I saw Poor Things this weekend. Oh, my God, that movie is wow. Yes, Poor Things is... Now, here's the thing. Poor Things is astounding. It is not for everyone. I'm going to warn everybody right now. It may not be your cup of tea. It's got a lot of nudity, but the nudity, like, how do I say this? The nudity isn't sexy. It's just kind of clinical. It's there. And as you're watching it, it either blows your mind away and you can't focus on anything else but the nudity, or you realize that it's the way it's being treated is if it's a child. So remember like when kids used to run around naked when they were kids and they just kind of, they don't give a shit about being naked. And that's a little how the movie is. That got a ton of nominations today. It's a really interesting movie. It's a Frankenstein movie, but it's not a Frankenstein movie. And it's a feminist movie with a Frankenstein twinge, or it's a Frankenstein movie with a feminist twinge. Whatever way you want to look at it, it's a fantastic movie. Poor Things isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and you can't recommend it to everybody. It's a little like Saltburn. You know who you can recommend Saltburn to, and you know who you can recommend Poor Things to. It was really fun. I don't know if I tell the story here, but I went to the movies, and there was an old couple going to see Poor Things, and the ticket taker at the AMC I go to, they asked him, how was it? And he was like, oh, I loved it. And, you know, he's in his 20s. Yeah, it's fantastic. For a 20-year-old, it's adventurous and crazy and has all kinds of big themes, and it's got tons of nudity, and it's weird and wacky. It's got dog chickens. It's amazing. It's got pig dogs. It's incredible. But it's not for a 65-year-old couple going to see some Oscar movies. Just isn't. Send them another way. Send them to American Fiction or send them to anything other than Poor Things. And certainly don't watch it Saltburn with them.
It's like Caligula. That's not for everybody either.
That's not for everybody. Well, it's not Caligula bad. No, Caligula is not a good movie. That's the other thing about Caligula. It's like it's nudity, but it's also intensely boring. Shit, I forgot something today. Sorry, JW. Okay, so she didn't do her homework either. That's fine. I really enjoyed it. I just wish I wasn't the only female in the theater with all the guys again. That's weird. You were the only female in the theater for Poor Things?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I really feel it's a feminist movie. I don't know that guys are gonna. There are some guys I won't recommend it to just because it's so heavy into the feminist themes about owning her body and being yourself. Let's see.
She was
I
also the
disagree.
only
There
female
was a
in
lot of
theater
sexy
for
going on.
Napoleon.
Well, okay. When I say clinical, a lot of the nudity early is clinical, and then I said there's a little sexy, but not a lot. I don't think there's a lot of sexy. I don't know that. You know what I mean? Like some of it is, I guess. I'm telling you, it's just that.
I guess
it's just that Scranton Theater laugh out loud. What'd you say, Jerry?
it depends on your interpretation of sex.
Yeah, well, no. I think Missy's right in a sense. There are sexy scenes, but they're not. Those scenes aren't gratuitous. The nudity early is gratuitous and very clinical. It's also how Emma Stone is.
Showgirl sexy.
It's way better than Showgirls. The movie's better than Showgirls in every piece of a metric.
I just meant Showgirl sexy with the sex scenes.
What about like Faces
It's not
of
like
Death?
that is
Sexy?
what you're saying.
Like Faces of Death, sexy.
That's quite
Showgirl sexy, like Elizabeth Berkley in the pool, which is
necromantic.
just about the worst sex scene ever put on film.
Necromantic.
Jerry gets
and I like Saltburn laugh out loud. I know Raven.
Tangent,
You're my people. Saltburn and Poor Things I'd recommend to you, but you wouldn't recommend
Jerry gets
Saltburn.
off to the Crypt Keeper right now, so
it is what it is.
Wow, JW went to the movies. Really? JW goes to the movies every week. Kyle, I don't know. I don't know where this. I don't know where this rumor gets started.
You started a sentence off with, "So I went to the movies," and the ticket taker was thinking like it was a big deal. You went to the movies.
No, the ticket. Okay. So you're being a wise ass. That's fine. I thought
I didn't want to interrupt you, so I put it in the chat for everybody.
I'm going to start typing in the chat now that I know you can do that. That's it.
I don't understand. Yes, I was the only film in the theater for Napoleon.
Shit, Jerry can learn. He's adding skills on. We're in trouble.
Jerry can learn at a geometric rate. I was in some classes with him in North Pocono. I know he can. Best orgasm scene ever. Laugh out loud. Okay, it's a pretty good scene. And then what else? Nobody in the chat room saw your chat until JW.
Political scene.
Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. I don't know what. Okay.
Mine, because it comes across as me being on YouTube when everyone else is on Facebook. I don't know why, but when I log in through the chat window here, it goes YouTube. So they're saying no one saw mine until then. So
it does have a YouTube.
It doesn't do cross-platform.
It does have a YouTube symbol by it. Interesting. Well, let's see.
I got the triangle of power.
Mine does too. I just put test. And it has
yes.
Let me test mine.
You just posted. Did anyone see it? Oh, this is podcasting at its best.
Yours did too.
But mine also went to Facebook. Interesting.
This goes double up.
Here.
Joe says, "Good evening, gentlemen. I'm on the road." Joe's on his way home. Good to hear that, Joe. We got a big episode for you tonight. So overall, what was that?
Raven just wrote Showgirls.
Showgirls is such a bad movie.
I'm so tired I can't even thread that needle anymore.
Yeah, it's bad. Let's talk Oscar noms. So Oppenheimer leads the list with 13. Poor Things has 11. Killers of the Flower Moon has 10. And Barbie has 8. Those are the big nominees. It's shaping up to be a very big Oppenheimer year. And that's good because Oppenheimer's great. Nominations for Best Picture. American Fiction, fantastic. Anatomy of a Fall, I have not seen yet. Barbie, cultural phenomenon. Holdovers, really underrated. Killers of the Flower Moon, fantastic, but 3.5 hours long, so not for everybody. Maestro on Netflix, really good, but not great, is the way I would describe it. Oppenheimer, one of the stories of the year is Nolan possibly, shaping up to get his Oscar and his Best Picture win. Past Lives, which is a really wonderful little romantic drama that's, very well liked amongst the acting voters of the Academy. Poor Things, produced by Emma Stone. So if Poor Things wins Best Picture, Emma Stone gets a Best Picture Oscar. And then The Zone of Interest, which of course is in a weird position as it's considered a foreign film, but it didn't get nominated by the country that produced it. It's instead in the Best Picture race and also the Best Director race. So, and it's essentially about a bunch of people that live around a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. So the German people that kind of watched everything happen and didn't do anything about it is basically the story of that one.
Our chat room's going to get us the next rating for this podcast.
I see it.
Okay, disagree. Raven, best orgasm is finger boxing yourself at the table with an apple. I don't know that that's the best orgasm thing. It's fine. Oppenheimer's going to take it all.
Mouse, people.
The clinical ones were better.
Stop talking about cafe flesh. Laugh out loud. That's an old.
That's an inside Rocky
and then,
Horror
but Oppenheimer's going to take it all again, just in case we didn't get the first message that Oppenheimer's going to take it all. I think Oppenheimer's going to have a very good night. Those are the Best Picture nominees. Acting. Let's talk about Best Actor. Really tight race. You got Bradley Cooper and Maestro, Coleman Domingo and Rustin. You can watch both of those on Netflix right after the show tonight if you want. Paul Giamatti on The Holdovers, which is on Peacock right now. If you have not seen The Holdovers, people, you desperately need to see The Holdovers, people, because The Holdovers is fantastic. Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer and Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction, another one of my favorites this year. American Fiction is a genius movie, just about an African-American writer, his family issues, and also the idea that he writes a book that is beneath him, but then also becomes a bestseller against his wishes, because it hits all of the racial stereotypes that white liberals want to see and want to read about, which is hilarious. It's a great movie. And that's a packed category. That best actor race is astounding. I think it's between Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti and Jeffrey Wright. Those are the three. Back to Best Actress in a Leading Role, you have Annette Bening and Nyad, another movie you can watch on Netflix. You have Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, which is on Apple Television right now. Probably going to win. It is a tremendous performance. It is sad, and she's sick for long parts of the film, and it is an incredible performance as she's watching all of her people get murdered around her. Sandra Huller in Anatomy of Fall, which is that's probably the nomination that took Margot Robbie's nomination, if I'm being honest, because Carey Mulligan and Maestro was going to get nominated, and Emma Stone was definitely going to get nominated for Poor Things. And if you're looking at it, the race, I'd say it's goal. Lily is far ahead right now. Lily Gladstone is so far ahead right now, but Emma Stone can come out of somewhere and win it, because Emma Stone is always dangerous when it comes to the Oscars. Were there any snubs that you saw that you went crazy about today, Kyle or Jerry? Let me preface that. Kyle, were there any snubs that your wife went crazy about?
This is the first time either one of us really processing the list today, really.
Okay. Well, the buzziest one today, the two buzziest ones, Best Director. Usually Best Director nominations line up with Best Picture. It gives you a really good shot to win Best Picture. Nominations for Best Director are Justin Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Some people are going to say that Greta Gerwig got left off the list for Justin Triet. That's not the case at all. I'd say the person out of all these nominees that jumped in was Jonathan Glazer. And, I think Greta Gerwig and Alexander Payne for The Holdovers have a lot to bitch about not getting into the Best Director race. But it's going to be a good race. But I think, we finally come to the portion of the evening, the portion of his career where Christopher Nolan gets an Academy Award for something. He's made all these movies where he's the star of the movies before the movies occur. And he's the one drawing everybody in. So I think it's a good solid list. Supporting actor and supporting actors are just, they are meat grinder categories. You got Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction, Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling as Ken in Barbie, and then Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. Robert Downey Jr.'s won everything early, but there's something about Sterling K. Brown's performance, and there's something about Gosling as Ken that people are gravitating towards. Best actress in a supporting role, Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. She's fantastic. She has a couple of the monologues in the film that are absolutely stunning. You have Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple. America Ferrari in Barbie. She gives the monologue of the movie, the monologue that everybody was putting on the Facebook wall, everybody was talking about. Jodie Foster in Nyad, because you never count Jodie Foster out. And then Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, who's going to win. But these are hard categories. You know what I mean? They're hard categories to pick. I think the most interesting thing is the series of memes today was Greta Gerwig not nominated, Margot Robbie not nominated, Ryan Gosling nominated. That is basically the point of the Barbie movie. Right? It's this weird, like the two women that are responsible for one of the biggest cultural phenomenons in the last 10 years don't get nominations, but the guy in the movie, it's a great performance. I don't want to shit on Gosling. The other side of it, and what I was explaining is, it's not just that they didn't get nominated. Ferrara did get nominated, and she wasn't supposed to get nominated. So I think there was a little bit there where, like, that monologue that everybody was talking about was something that everybody fixated on. What do you guys think? Hold on, let's see. We have questions. I have a serious question. Is Best Orgasm Scene a new category in the awards? No, it's not. Emma Stone is beautiful.
That wasn't a serious question, but okay.
Back in the 70s, it would have been.
Could have been. The X-rated Times Square of the 70s. Kyle didn't even read the noms. Laugh out loud. You're just getting hammered.
That's correct, Raven. I was driving for 6 hours today, and
I'm identifying as a
Do you think if Nolan wins, Scorsese will do his usual one about movies and the audience thing like always? No, because it's not. So Nolan winning for Oppenheimer will be it's a combination thing. It will be for Oppenheimer because it's a tremendous movie. Even though it kind of like Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon have a couple things going against them in this Oscar race, in the sense that Scorsese is an old white man directing a movie about indigenous peoples being murdered, and we have indigenous peoples directing movies about indigenous peoples that can't get distributors. So that could go against Marty here tonight. Also, Nolan is going to take a little bit of grief because some feel Oppenheimer doesn't go far enough in showing the catastrophe that happened to Nagasaki and, in Japan in general when we dropped his bombs. So, like, the idea that Oppenheimer doesn't go far enough in showing the atrocities, kind of like, and the thing is, the movie's not about the atrocities of the bomb.
Movie though, too, and it wasn't.
Well, that's the truth. But if you had a minute,
the lead up to all of that,
Yeah, if you had a minute, it is about the lead up, and that's where you're going to find like whether or not you agree with the idea that Oppenheimer could be in a little bit of trouble, because those are the two movies that are getting the most pushback on how, like, I'm hearing more pushback about Killers of the Flower Moon in the sense that there are indigenous people that can't get movies distributed. And here Scorsese comes in and gets paid, makes a $250 million 3-hour movie. You know what I mean? With all the bells and whistles, and just it could hurt the movie's chances. I'm not saying it's going to, but it could. Oppenheimer again gets a little bit of criticism because it doesn't show what happened to the Japanese people, even though it's not really about that. So, but it could. I don't think Scorsese will whine at all. I think he'll be happy. It's not a Marvel movie winning. JW got a point. Thank you, Raven. John writes 3 hours. How far should it go? I'm not saying it should go far. I'm just saying it is a criticism of the film that is 3 hours long. I don't know that there's places you could cut it either. It's a pretty solid 3 hour movie that moves. You'd agree, Jerry, right? You saw it. You enjoyed Oppenheimer. It's a pretty good 3 hour movie that moves. It doesn't feel like it has fluff.
I saw Oppenheimer, but I mean, I'm not chomping at the bit to watch it again.
No,
it's sort of like a once viewing thing for me too, but
I'll probably watch it. I don't know that I'll watch it every year, but I'll probably watch it again. It's not like
it might be one of those movies where you catch it on network television and you just like, oh yeah, let's just watch it.
You catch it in the middle and you're like, oh, okay, cool. They're like, because like they're part like you're not on network television though, because you're not going to get any of the smutty smut. Oppenheimer on network television.
You got to watch Fat Man and Little Boy now.
Well, that's the other thing. That movie was really good too. Like,
leave me out of this.
Well, we have our own. We have Fat Men and Little Boy. Fat Men and Little Boy. It could be the semicolon for the Loud Nerdy Show.
I think a Little Boy.
I think Oppenheimer is really great. I think this might be the year where we kind of look at after the fact. We look at some movies and go, like Barbie is going to get watched every year by people. Do you know what I mean? Barbie is going to become a pretty big. Oh, that was a loud what in the background. Barbie's a cultural phenomenon that Oppenheimer isn't.
All I heard was
what? And that's the truth. I mean, that's not. It's more based on the fact that Oppenheimer's 3 hours long than anything, but also the fact that Barbie is for a lot of people one of the reasons to watch this year because they love Barbie so much.
Watch it once.
There you go. I understand. But I think other movies on the list, like American Fiction, I think The Holdovers is going to become a classic that we watch. Like it's going to become a classic Christmas movie for me. I think Poor Things is something I'm going to watch probably every year just because it's so zany, and also I feel like every time you watch Poor Things, I feel you're going to find something new in it that you didn't see the first time you saw it. It's one of those movies. It's not the nudity. It really isn't. It's more, there's a lot going on in Poor Things. American Fiction American Fiction is fantastic too. And those are the ones for me that I'm going to rewatch over and over again. Let's see what we got. I saw that movie 3 times in the theater. I love that movie. I know you do. She's a big Oppenheimer fan. I know. The future movement for independent is Taylor Swift model, screw distributors and go direct to the exhibitors. Angel Studios did the same with AMC. Yeah, I mean, okay, so John, what I would say,
John was a theater owner at one point, and he works at AMC currently.
Oh no, I have no problem.
So he's got some insight here.
Oh no, I'm not gonna.
Heads up.
Thank you. I'll explain what I think is happening. The Taylor Swift model is an interesting model, but it only really worked. Like, it didn't work for Beyonce. So the Taylor Swift model at this point, John, only works for Taylor Swift. Would be my answer. Angel Studios is a interesting question. They, of course, are the people that made Sound of Freedom. And what I would say is there's something to the idea that it's borderline Ponzi scheme in the sense that they're saying one of the things that I thought was interesting about Sound of Freedom as a movie when it got distributed this year was people were buying tickets for other people and giving to them. And then people were complaining when they got to the theaters and the theater wasn't sold out, but the tickets were used. So I think it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So Angel Studios, I'm nervous about. Angel Studios, by the way, is also, John, I'm sure you know this, but Angel Studios also comes from a place where the company actually came from is, Jerry, I know you know this. Do you remember the company that sprang up in the 80s and 90s that basically said, hey, do you not like any nudity or cursing in your movies? You send us your movies and we'll cut them up for you and send them back to you. That's where Angel Studios is from.
You forget the name of that.
But no, but it doesn't matter what it is because it's gone.
I remember that though.
But Angel Studios, that's where they've come from. So I don't know. Like they may work again, and I know the studios are trying to copy the way they did things, which is basically collect money from people and try to get people to pay for the money to buy theaters out, so that they don't have to actually market or do anything. Movie studios don't have to do anything on their own. But I don't know that it works we have to see if it's going to be a trend or if it was just a one-off with Sound of Freedom. And Taylor Swift, great model. She came in, she made $150 million, because she was charging $20 a seat for every showing, every seat. And then it was between her and AMC, she made the deal, right? And then it got distributed to all the other theater chains, which was fine for her. But it didn't work for Beyonce. And Beyonce didn't get distributed to any other theater chains. So I don't know that that's going to...
I think it could work for bigger comedians, though, instead of doing...
It could. But what I'm saying, at this point, that blueprint, it's called the Taylor Swift model for a reason, in that it's right now at this moment, only Taylor Swift has it worked for. Like Beyonce didn't really work. You know what I mean? And maybe comedians will work.
It's because Beyonce didn't dump Jay-Z and start dating an NFL player. So, I mean.
Possibly. John, if John wants to come on the show, I'd be happy to have him on and talk it. Let's see. You guys would have a great talk. Probably. Pay it forward program for tickets. Yeah. But realize, John, that the studios and I know you know this because of, like Kyle said, he works for AMC and stuff. The studios are a little leery of the first two things with Sound of Freedom. The studios don't necessarily believe it made that much money. And one of the things that happened with the Pay It Forward program with Sound of Freedom is that once you put your money into the Pay It Forward ticket program, you signed that money away, and that money didn't necessarily go for tickets. One of the fine print things that happened in the Pay It Forward program for Sound of Freedom was that the money would be sent to Angel Studios to use for other movies. So some of the big studios like 20th Century Fox, not Fox, Paramount, Disney, Universal, Lionsgate, they've all questioned the Sound of Fury money. And if you think about the videos when that movie came out, about the people going into theaters and going, hey, I was trying to buy a ticket for my buddy, and they say it's sold out, but there's nobody in here, right? Everybody saw one of those TikTok videos or whatever, right? Whereas the guy's like, I was trying to get a ticket for my buddy outside, and they said this theater sold out. I'm in the theater right now. They don't want us to see this movie. And there's nobody here, and the seats are sold out. That was the ticket program. And while studios are looking into it, they also were trying to call bullshit the whole time. When Sound of Freedom came out and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny bombed at the exact same moment, one of the things Disney said was, this ticket program is a little faulty in that you're counting ticket grosses where people may not actually be seeing the movie. So and whether or not it's going to become a regular trend, I don't know. But I understand what you're saying, John. Let's see.
The distributor that had the movie that bombed was saying there might have been some shifting of funds, and that's why it bombed. No. What they were saying was... It's a good reason to say that.
Well, no, but...
With Disney saying it, though, it makes you question it because it was their movie that bombed.
Well, Disney's saying it because the stories coming out were Sound of Freedom beats Indiana Jones at the box office. I
understand that.
And the truth of the matter is,
spin on it, and that's a pretty good spin to put on it.
But more people in reality probably saw Indiana Jones than they saw Sound of Freedom in theaters. Is the case. So it was called out as fraud by the studio. Although I will say, the interesting thing I also read was the studios are trying to figure out a way they could do that themselves, right? So they're looking at this company that's basically what they're calling a Ponzi scheme when it's not working for them. So I understand the hypocrisy of it, and I understand what's going on. It's just, Disney when Disney was out trying to make it look better for Indiana Jones, and again, Indiana Jones did not do well at the box office. I'll defend it to the hilt because I think it's a good movie, and we're going to talk about the Razzies in a second, and the Razzies can suck a nut as far as I'm concerned. That's just how I feel. But what I'm saying is, when you start doing a deep dive on where all that money went for the ticket program for Angel Studios, it's very much we don't because one of the things is when you signed off, it could go for future Angel Studios productions. And so that might not be somebody seeing Sound of Freedom. You and I, the three of you're laughing at a comment.
The chats. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's see what we got.
Sorry,
large tiers nowadays act as banks. Beyonce broke even on cost with a large enough following you could regionalize the idea. Very true. Still playing down in Florida, still getting people going to it. So I'm not saying that, but it wasn't Taylor Swift. The Taylor Swift thing was a real event that everybody went crazy for. And that movie jumped into the box office discussion. And it was it was a great idea of getting away from the exhibitors, going directly to the theaters. And then that theater chain broke it out to all the other theater chains, which was nice of them and kind to keep other exhibitors in business. Not from Gap Theater Event Center, Wild Gap, PA. Indy lasted 3 weeks. Freedom lasted 8. Sure.
Now, I'm going to emphasize, because I went after JW for the Disney thing, but John, I'm also going to say that a lot of independent theaters, you also got to look at which way the owner might skew politically, where Indy is owned by a very blue company, and Freedom was a very red movie. Almost too, I do believe that the people that have the Gap Theater there in Wind Gap do lean more that way with the red. So, I mean, that's also possibly why it lasts longer in that one theater. So
that's a very true statement. Also, the other thing that I would also say is, I'm not necessarily saying that Indy didn't get beat by Sound of Freedom. I'm just saying to you, there were calls during the year, during the time that this box office event was happening, where people were questioning the pay it forward program. And the idea that we might, if you looked at it right now and said, hey, how many people have seen Indiana Jones' Dial of Destiny in theaters? How many people Sound of Freedom? People might have paid for tickets for people to go see Sound of Freedom. That doesn't mean people went to see Sound of Freedom. And I would, I'm sure, I don't know, the Gap Theater Event Center, Wind Gap PA would give it away, would give the idea, but I would love to see, if they're going to say it's packed every night, it was sold out every night, okay. But down here.
They got to start charging tickets like it's a concert or an event where it's how many paid seats versus how many sleeper passes are given out.
It was a weird event, and Disney called them on it. Universal called them on it. Anybody that had a movie,
it could be spun either way. It could be spun either way.
Paramount called them on it too, John. Paramount called them on it too, John, because they were concerned about Mission Impossible went tits up too. So it wasn't just Indiana Jones. I'm pro Indy, so I understand. Let's see. Didn't Kyle have a long hair and a beard last week?
I still got the hair, but I just came from an event all day, and
the exhibitors were pissed about Taylor Swift.
A clean shave.
Yes, but then didn't AMC shared with everybody? It went all over the country, right? John, the exhibitors were pissed about Taylor Swift in the sense that I don't know that why were the exhibitors pissed? This is interesting to me.
I wonder if it's in the contract of the point of sale price, probably the percentages.
Oh, the percentage. Well, yeah, I can't imagine that. Well, AMC probably took everybody to the cleaners because they had something that they knew could get your theater going for at least 3 weeks. Yeah, you guys definitely need to have them online. You guys are having a great conversation. No, I agree. I'm just saying, I think it's, when you look at something like Sound of Freedom, I think there are other models out there. The pay it forward model, though, I don't know that one's going to be one of the ones. I think Kyle's right in the sense that you could have an Eddie Murphy comedy special or a Chris Rock comedy special or Kevin Hart or, go ahead, or a Slapjaw concert. All true. And go directly through exhibitors. But that was all because everybody
I'll be
passed.
in the V spot for the next Slapjaw concert, and I'll just live stream it on Facebook.
Well, and John knows this. The reason it went straight to exhibitors, the reason the Taylor Swift thing went straight to exhibitors was because all of the studios passed on a concert film. Because concert films, have been very fine line.
On his next comment.
Okay, let's see. It's a matter that the distributors have planned for movies coming out. Taylor Swift basically cut in line, caused release dates to get bumped back, and it was hilarious. Yeah, because nobody wanted to open against Taylor Swift. But I think also the exhibitors were looking.
They couldn't shake it off, folks.
Well, he said exhibitors were pissed. I think he meant distributors were pissed. There's no way the exhibitors were pissed. The distributors were pissed.
John's like 6'8" with fingers this big and a keyboard this big. So I mean,
no, but John, I think you meant the distributors were pissed because the regular film chain movies that were coming out that were already on the schedule no worries. I read it. I was like, why were the exhibitors pissed? We cross wires all the time, John. I understand. But it is an interesting case, and I think this year with with what's happening right now, like tomorrow night, I'm going to a film event. I'm going to an IMAX theater to watch Dune. Now, interesting thing is, I didn't get to see Dune in a theater the last time it came out, so it's running for one night only as we prepare for March 2nd. So I'm going tomorrow night. It's going to be an IMAX. The theater's packed to the gills because it's like the first time to get to see Dune in a year and a half.
And there'll be no one in there because everyone paid it forward and didn't show up.
Maybe that'll be what it is, Kyle. Maybe that'll be how it happened.
The seats are full, not full.
JW making TikTok videos of an empty theater.
They lied. Original or the redo? I think you mean Dune. It's the original. It's when it redo. Actually, I'm sorry, not the Universal David Lynch Dune. It's the new Dune, and then they're adding. I think they're adding another 5-minute trailer for the new one, like a preview that makes going to make every sci-fi fanboy wet their pants. So I'm hoping to be in the wet the pants category come tomorrow night at 7:00. JW, I'm jealous. That sounds like so much fun. It's going to be packed. But the thing about it is, the sad thing for me is I did not see Dune originally in a theater because it was during the pandemic and our theaters were closed. So this will be my first time seeing Dune on a big screen. I'm super jazzed. Plus it's IMAX. They just redid our seat. It's really weird. We have the AMC we have down here, John, has the IMAX we have down here. They just redid the seats in the AMC where I'm at, but they didn't go full on. We have a Dolby House too. We have a Dolby House and we have an IMAX house. They redid the seats for the IMAX house, but they didn't make them as good as the seats for the Dolby House. It's weird. They're all brand new, but they're not nearly as comfortable as the other seats that were there before. It's weird, John. It's like they refurbished it, but they didn't go all in for the recliner seats for the IMAX. So, let's see. You're in for a treat in IMAX. It'll be fucking awesome. I can't wait. It's going to look amazing in IMAX. Yep. And then remember to take your pumpkin spice because he who controls the spice. Jasper, I don't like pumpkin at all. So you're never going to, I'll take apple spice. I'll take taco spice.
You don't like pumpkin pie?
I don't like pumpkin pie. No.
What?
Nope. We have fights about this all the time. The only thing I ask for in any Thanksgiving or Christmas meal is that there are alternate pies. Because I'm more of a pie guy than a cake guy also. So I demand that I don't like pumpkin spice. I don't like pumpkins. I'm an apple pie guy. I do. You know what a pie I really love?
He throws a pumpkin pie down on Thanksgiving. This pie ain't fit for me. Bring me other pies.
Look, you people can all like your pumpkin spice. I don't like pumpkin. I don't like how it tastes. I don't like anything about it.
What pie do you like? You were gonna say it.
Oh yeah, I do the apple, the Perkins apple caramel crumble cake.
Apple with raisin or without?
Without raisin. I just want caramel apple with the crumblies. That's the kind of I'm an apple pie guy. I've always been an apple pie person.
Ritters makes caramel apple too.
It's amazing.
Ooh, I would. You know what? I miss Ritters. That is one of those things. When I come up for Viking weekend, you're gonna have to get me some apple, like cider.
You have to make a note of that.
Yeah.
Cider and an apple pie, so I can enjoy it while I'm visiting the area. IMAX had a say in that regards to capacity. Oh, okay, that makes sense. They're interesting chairs, but they're not like. I'm a fat guy, so it's like one of those things. Like they're interesting seats, but they seem narrower than the much more comfortable Dolby seats. Let's see. Lemon meringue. No.
I like lemon meringue.
I like key lime.
I like that too.
I'm not gonna.
I don't mind to that voice behind Jerry.
Laugh aloud, fellow pie people, JW, but you're
my
sacrilegious for shaming pumpkin. I'm not shaming pumpkin. I'm just saying I don't want pumpkin. I'm not saying you can't enjoy your pumpkin or your spice. I'm just saying it's not going to be the spice I choose. Vicky Wadsworth Alonso says Viking weekend. Yeah, okay. So really quick,
that was such a good time.
Really quick, every year I make it a point to travel and see. We have a bunch of guys that have been together for about 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, all these years, and we get together every year. They rent a cabin somewhere in Pennsylvania. I try to show up from Florida, and it's just drinking and eating and watching The Departed. It's a guy thing. It's nice. Jerry came last year. Kyle was invited.
For 8, but I already had plans to go to.
I understand. I'm just saying.
Thorny with the Wife or Monster Fest or Horror Fest.
I didn't say anything. Why are you so defensive?
I was invited, but he snubbed me.
I made it and you didn't. Ha ha.
Oh, look at the fucking teacher's pet down there.
He does his homework. He shows up when I ask him to. He also, oh god damn it. He also brought Raiders of the Lost Ark on VHS, and I looked at him and I'm like, this is a very cool gift. I appreciate this so much. But I can't fly it home. So it's with my cousin. Pete has it. So, and the next time we drive to Pennsylvania, I don't know whenever that's going to happen again. I got it. But it's a good weekend. We do a lot of cool things. Let's talk. Let's shift gears. Good talk. Let's talk a little bit about the Razzies. Razzie announcements. Fucking Razzies. Worst picture. Exorcist Believer. Expendables. Meg 2 The Trench. Shazam Fury of the Gods. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey.
That was bad too.
You know what? But, okay, out of those movies, the most disappointing on that list, Jerry, is The Exorcist. Because that's a big budget.
Yeah.
Like, saying Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey is shitty is like going, oh, I'm sorry, I rented a pile of trash, and it turned out to be trash.
Well, that's one, if you were walking through the video store, you'd see it and be like, oh, this is a B film. I'm just going to grab it. It's that kind of night.
Right, but Exorcist, they spent a ton of fucking money on The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Worst actor, Russell Crowe in The Pope's Exorcist.
I don't think Shazam belongs on that list enough.
I don't think Shazam belongs on that list either. Meg 2 is terrible.
Yeah. Meg 1 was terrible.
Meg 2 is terrible.
Meg 1 was too.
Meg, yeah, but the Meg at least had shark.
You know how they messed up the Meg 1 though? They put everything in the trailer. Like they should have never had anything regarding.
I agree with that too. But like out of that list,
the suspense. They ruined the suspense right away.
The idea of putting Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey on this list, like if you don't know that's a bad movie, who the fuck are you? Like, like I'm not saying there weren't parts I enjoyed. I'm just saying to think it's a good movie and then go, you know what? This Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, it's the worst movie of the year.
Didn't the Monsters make the list?
They don't give a fuck. The Winnie the Pooh list.
You're putting up Winnie the Pooh when you're like, I'm in the mood for the new version of a bad Ed Wood film. Like,
yes, but like The Exorcist, Meg 2.
It's a bad B movie. You know it is.
The Exorcist and Meg 2 had tons of fucking money behind them. They should have been better. You know what I mean? Worst actor, Russell Crowe, The Pope's Exorcist. I don't agree with that. I think he's overacting, but it's fine for what it is. I enjoyed that movie. I didn't think it was that bad. Vin Diesel and Fast X. Yeah, Vin Diesel in almost anything. Chris Evans in Ghosted.
It's just fun to shit on Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel in a bad actor when he says, I am Groot, is he?
Oh, wait, when did the Munsters come out?
That's what I mean. Where is the Munsters on this list? Also, and then other worst actor nominees, Jason Statham in Meg 2, John Voight in Mercy. These are people that aren't really like Anna de Armas in Ghosted, Megan Fox and Johnny and Clyde, Selma Hayek and Magic Mike's Last Dance, Jennifer Lopez in The Mother, and Helen Mirren in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I don't think Helen Mirren was that bad in Shazam. Worst supporting actress, Lucy Liu, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. They really hate Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Mary Stuart Masterson in Five Nights at Freddy's, Bai Ling and Johnny and Clyde, Megan Fox in The Expendables, Kim Cattrall in About My Father. Worst supporting actor, Michael Douglas in Ant-Man.
They're all over Megan Fox.
They are. They're over the same people. Michael Douglas in Ant-Man, Mel Gibson in Confidential Informant, Bill Murray in Ant-Man, Franco Nero in The Pope's Exorcist, Stallone in Expendables 4. Worst screen couple, any two merciless mercenaries from The Expendables, any two money-grubbing investors who dated the $4 million. Wait. Any two worst screen couple, any two merciless mercenaries in Expendables, any two money-grubbing investors who donated $400 million for the remake rights of The Exorcist, Anna de Armas and Chris Evans, who flunked screen chemistry, Selma Hayek and Channing Tatum, Pooh and Piglet as bloodthirsty slash killers in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. You can tell where this is going. Worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel, Ant-Man, Exorcist, Expendables, Indiana Jones, and The Dial of Still Beating a Dead Horse, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. See,
now where's Shazam if it had all those other bad parts?
Well, I don't know. Like it's a stupid list. It's a bad list. Like the idea that Winnie the Pooh should win, but the idea that you're going into Winnie the Pooh with anything other than what it is psychotic. Like, why are you?
But it's using a lot of these other big name movies to kind of bring themselves more to the forefront because they know people are just sick of the run of the average award shows.
Yeah, so but they do this every year. They find something to hang their hats on, and usually the worst.
They don't do this many.
Shazam doesn't deserve to be on this list, Kyle. You know this. It's beating
I understand that. But they're using the name of that movie to draw eyes.
Let's see. IMAX went from 520 to 432 with the new seats. If they redid the IMAX seats, there's a good chance they upgraded the projector to laser. They did. Thank you. Good job, John. We're appreciative of you. Poor Kyle. I don't know why poor Kyle, but it wasn't good at all. Then let's see. Did you have high hopes for Exorcist? I had hopes that it would be
some hope at least.
If you put your name on your brand, like it wasn't even as good as Exorcist 3. Like
3 was great.
3 is a good movie. Like if you put the Exorcist brand on something, it should be good, at least good, at the very least good. Pooh, dear. Oh, you watch Winnie the Pooh be movie mentality. People took that serious. That's hilarious. Yeah, the idea that you put Winnie the Pooh on this list is like. The idea they put Shazam on this list is weird. The idea they put Indiana Jones on this list is weird to me.
On the next comment, please say RZ. You can't say his name 3 times, or you know
JW, don't bring up those who will not be named. You know what happens.
Yeah, we go off on a tangent about how terrible it is.
Halloween was awful. Shazam wasn't good, but it wasn't that bad. What was the last movie that you walked out on? The last movie
Probably
I walked
Halloween.
out on. Last movie I walked out on.
RZ.
Jasper, this is going to sound weird. It wouldn't be a movie I walked out on. It'd be a movie I turned off, right? Because if I go to the movies, I'm in. Like, if it sucks or whatever, it'd be something I turned off.
You even stayed for all of X-Men, Flight of the Phoenix.
That's what I mean. We stayed all the way through that movie, and that movie was fucking awful.
You did. It was in the end scene.
Midway through, you and I looked at each other like, "Why are we here? What is going on?" And then we just talked. Like,
we were doing Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Right. We talked to your kid, and we talked to you. Like, it was bad.
What'd you turn off? Then I'll tell you what I turned off. Go ahead.
Oh, there we go. Let me think about it. If you have something, go.
Point Break remake.
Point Break remake's a great one. I'm trying to think of what I've watched recently that I
turned that off about 20 minutes in. I got tired of it being a stunt movie.
Something that I just couldn't get into.
A new Netflix one about the cryptocurrency. I shut that one off about 40 minutes later.
Okay, the last one I turned off. There was an Adam Sandler the Western comedy where it was aping the Magnificent Seven.
I want to turn off all of his movies.
Yeah, all of his fucking Netflix stuff, like all of his Netflix. But like, I tried to watch it because I love the Magnificent Seven.
For me, anyway.
Oh Jesus Christ, his movies are terrible too.
Skittle
saves Shazam, but that would be the last one I turned off. The Adam Sandler, some of the Adam Sandler comedies on Netflix, where you turn them on, and you're like, I'll give it a shot, and then 5 minutes in, you're like, fuck this.
I'm a goofy guy. I'm going to screw up, and then I'm going to make it right and get the girl that's not in my league.
Missy is right. I did want to walk out on Asteroid City. That was painful.
It's hilarious when a star shows up to accept a Razzie. Yes. That means you own it. Idea. JW should do a small segment called Tales from the Theater about his days working and hanging out in theaters. Thank you, Joe. We could do that. I could do a story. They're fun. They're hilarious. Kyle, really want to walk out on Asteroid City. Some movies you just don't connect with. But like, for me, if I'm at a theater, it's hard. Like, it's hard for me to walk out on anything. Like, if I'm there, there's a reason I'm there. I almost walked out on, and it wasn't because of the movie, but it was because of what was happening in the theater. I went to see Ma down here in Florida. It was one of the first movies I went to down here. Or not first movies, but one of the movies. We went to a matinee, and there was a husband and wife that were sitting next to us, or behind us, and they were fucking talking during the entire fucking movie. And it was a packed theater. It was like opening weekend of Ma, right? It's a really cool kind of revenge flick horror movie. It's got a horror twinge to it. Anyway, we almost walked out because she got belligerent with people in the audience. Her husband. She eventually got arrested and taken out, and everybody who was in the theater for that performance got a pass on the way out of the theater because they had to come in and arrest her. So like, it's never really the movies. It's always something.
Do John's comments next, and then I want to go back to Ridge's, to Joe's comments after.
We had RZ's brother on before, Spider-Man from Power Man 5000.
Do John's first, and then we'll go back to that.
I saw them at Ozfest.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
Power Man 5000.
There were a couple ladies that walked out of Poor Things tonight. I basically spoiled the movie for them at that point. They were surprised. I actually liked the movie. Yeah, but Poor Things, how old were the ladies, John? That's my thing. Poor Things is it's like Saltburn. It is very specific who you recommend Saltburn to. For example, I may recommend Saltburn to Jerry, but I know Jerry's wife would not enjoy Saltburn. Jerry would get past the points that are too offensive, but Jerry's wife would be like, "Why the fuck did he tell me to watch this?" And then she would judge me. So I don't get into that at all.
Judge you without that.
I judge you without that.
That's fine. I appreciate her judgment. Although, can you appreciate judgment of sitting in 10-degree weather? I'm just saying.
John
Anyway,
says they were in their 40s. You keep on saying Saltburn, and I kept on confusing it with Brightburn.
Oh, Saltburn and Brightburn? Somebody's confusing it? Who's confusing it? What?
I was confusing it at first.
Those are two different movies, Kyle. Although they're both about incredible beings that take over the world. She is the law. Laugh out loud. The 40s is interesting. That's an interesting place, John, that they walked out. But again, that could be like there's so much nudity in that movie, and it's such a weird fucking premise unless you understand from the get-go that you're watching Emma Stone play a child who's going to learn from child to mid-20s in a half hour, 45 minutes.
About Salo.
Let's go back to Ridge's comment now.
Now let's go back to we had
5,000.
We had RZ's brother on before Spider-Man from Power Man 5000 or something like that. Okay.
That's right.
It was Power Man 5000, who also did the theme song for the Dudley Boys. Why do I bring that up? Because big news today.
That's a great segue. Go ahead. You provide comment.
Raw is moving to Netflix starting in January with a 10-year, $500 billion deal. And I think it's the stupidest move WWE made.
It's $50 billion.
Longest running, yeah.
It's $50
billion. They took the longest running episodic television show off of cable TV and moved it to a streaming platform. Yeah. Episodic.
So let me take the devil's advocate on this one. They got paid $50 billion for a 10-year deal.
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years, but they got paid $50 billion. They are also in the time frame. It goes on January 1st, 2025. Okay, so we have a full year on USA Network, so that they can change up. Also, there's a weird thing going on. I don't know if you read about this, Kyle, but October to January, they don't have anywhere to show their show. They either have to have a minor contract extension with USA to finish out the year on the USA Network, or they have to find somewhere else to do it. So that's a weird thing that's happening. Also, what I would say to you is there is rampant rumors that part of the $50 billion deal, they're going to get another $50 billion when their contract expires with Peacock to move everything over to the premium live events over. So for the WWE and TKO, it was a no-brainer to go, you're going to give us $100 billion and we're going to move everything over to Netflix, and Netflix will have a live show every week. Now, here's the thing. I know it's not linear, but it's the longest live episodic television show in TV history, but it's still going to be live every week. I mean, I know people are upset because they have to get Netflix, or I had a couple of people say, I'm not going to get Netflix. I'll just figure out what's going on, and realize that SmackDown is going to USA. So it's like,
yeah,
it is, but I understand.
SmackDown go to Netflix and for a little bit less.
SmackDown was an easier sell. Raw was the hardest sell. 3 hours on a Monday night is a much harder sell than the ratings are getting for SmackDown.
Keep it 3 hours.
No, but
SmackDown your, wrestling podcast here that you didn't start.
Well, this is the nerdy part of the thing. So you just be loud over there, okay?
This is actually one of the biggest television deals in the history of Netflix. Like it is Netflix saying we are going to have live programming because the WWE doesn't stop. So Netflix will have a live show on television starting January 2025 that goes every week. And right now, and Kyle knows this, right now, I don't know how you can talk about anything other than the WWE because they're on fucking fire. It's on fire. Everything is going so well. Kyle, has there been more excitement about a Royal Rumble ever?
No, there's so many possibilities.
It's
this Royal Rumble, which you got tickets that you're going to. I know that was your segue to be braggadocious here. So
I'm going on Saturday. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing. I was sitting there watching last night. This is a nerd segment, so I'm okay with this. I was watching last night with my wife, and they had a Cody Rhodes CM Punk. The promo was astounding. Like, I know you think Punk's going to cause a problem. I don't think he is. I told you from the get-go, I don't think he is. I know we can get to
his way, he won't.
As long as he gets his way, we won't. But what I'll say to you is that promo last night was one of the best promos I've seen.
Oh yeah, that promo
in the last 5 years. I am actually more of the American Dream than you are. Oh, okay.
I'm more CM Punk than you are.
I'm more of a CM Punk than you are. Holy fuck. It became a crazy thing. It was one of the greatest promos I've ever seen. So I was sitting next to
that is a promo that they will dissect in promo class for years to come.
For years to come.
The next generation.
Also, what I will say to you is I was sitting next to my wife and I was watching it and she goes, you're giggling like a school child. I'm like, yeah, because I am so happy. I go, this may end up being the best $300 I've ever spent. Like, it just being in attendance when whatever the fuck happens, it may be the best $300 I've ever spent to attend any event I've ever gone to. And I've been to WrestleManias. So I just, it's going to be incredible. We have a couple things to get to.
This Netflix deal, though, I think is AEW. Great leverage with Max now.
With Warner's?
And with
maybe, but
Warner's.
But the problem there, Kyle, is, and if the real problem there is, you also have the Warner Brothers execs looking over at what happened on Raw Monday night and going, Tony, just a quick question.
We had both of those guys.
We had those two guys, didn't we? Those guys that are about to headline WrestleMania, both nights of WrestleMania. They were on your program, weren't they? Like a year ago, we had both of them under contract.
Well, what's the other big headline that dominated the last 2 weeks? Jungle Boy showing up in New Japan and ripping up his AEW contract.
Yeah, just but he's minor. Like, what's more concerning if you're an AEW fan is this idea that their answer to CM Punk and Cody Rhodes standing in the dead center of a ring on Monday Night Raw, garnering the highest rating Raw has had in 7 years during its segment. Their answer is Renee Paquette sitting next to the Young Bucks, acting like sleazoids, who we know that are, that's their answer. So it's,
Jerry just looked over and said, "Hey Siri, who are the Young Bucks?"
Hey, listen. I remember Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog, Coco
Well,
Beware.
that's really quick.
Something there, brother.
That's wrestling.
Also, just so we're clear, good call, Jerry. It is the 40th anniversary of Hulkamania. This is the 40th anniversary this week of the night that Hulk Hogan in Madison Square Garden on a USA show pinned the Iron Sheik and Hulkamania was born. So good call, Jerry. Great segue. A couple things. Let's see. Kyle's so excited about the Royal Rumble. He told me to make absolutely plans for the week. I'm sitting here watching. It's going to be, I'm so excited. We're going down. We're leaving at noon. We're 2 hours away. I'm leaving at noon so I can just go around and just drive around and bask in it. It's going to be amazing.
Chief J. Strongbow, good one.
Sigh, fucking Tony, laugh out loud. Work, Jungle Boy. It's a work. And then let's see, Chief J. Strongbow. Chief isn't spelled that way, but that's fine.
Listen to my point. All the headlines this week of wrestling are Jungle Boy, CM Punk, Cody, Nick Nemeth. There's really no AEW talk.
There's no, because the show is bad. Kyle, you've watched the show recently. It's awful. From segment to segment, it's just bad. So it's
Lou Albano.
You know Lou Albano. Wow, he was part of the Rock and Roll Connection. Speaking of Rock and Roll Connection, it's not really speaking of Rock and Roll Connection. I do want to talk a little bit about the last thing of the night before we get going. It's been a good show, a great show. It's moved along at a brisk clip. Let's see. Well, the other thing, a couple things. I saw ISS and I saw Mean Girls. ISS was terrible. Like, it was just unbelievably bad, and just it looked cheap, and it was cheap, and it was just, and it bombed the box office. So that movie can go away. That movie right there, which is right here. I'll show it to you really quick. ISS. It's about. Yes, there you go, Jerry. It is time for Twilight Zone Corner, even though Kyle doesn't actually follow the rules or do anything he's supposed to do. Jerk. He's a jerk.
As Lita's theme song said, "Go fuck your rules, man."
Go fuck your rules, man. Okay, so what I will say is this episode, Mr. Denton on Doomsday, really nice episode. Dan Duryea plays a town drunk in a Western, so it's a full Western theme. The opening narration goes, portrait of a town drunk named Al Denton. This is a man who's begun his dying early, a long, agonizing route through a maze of bottles. How fantastic is that writing, by the way? Al Denton, who could probably give an arm or leg or part of a soul to have another chance to be able to rise up and shake the dirt from his body and his bad dreams that infest his consciousness. In the parlance of times, this is a peddler, a rather fanciful-looking little man in a black frock coat. And then a revolver mysteriously appears on the ground next to Denton. And this is the third principal character of our story. Its function, perhaps to give Mr. Al Denton a second chance. It is a really interesting episode in that it is a complete Western episode. And it is a functional Western in the sense that it is the old trope of an aging gunfighter that becomes a drunk, that gets sober again, that you see in a lot of Westerns. Most frankly, the Howard Hawks Westerns. So, El Dorado, Rio Lobo, and Rio Bravo, where they're played by three different actors, where John Wayne nurses a drunk back to health, and he becomes a gunfighter that works with John Wayne to stop the bad guys in town. So it's a trope there. It's also a trope of a younger gunfighter that is kind of going around trying to find people to shoot with, and maybe that he's going to fall into this trap of eventually becoming Al Denton himself. It is a fantastic episode. It is a well-done little Western. It has a lot going on. The only supernatural element is that the guy who is the town peddler, the guy that's going from town to town with peddling the snake oil salesman to say, is a Mr. Fate. Right? Mm-hmm. That's his name, is Fate. Yep. And he gives Al Denton the ability to be quicker on the draw and more accurate with an elixir. And so that leads to, the ending where he finally runs against the kid, but the kid also has the elixir. And so they shoot each other, and Al's gotten out of it's an incredible thing. Al's gotten out of he's gotten out of it. He's gotten out of being a drunk. He's no longer headed towards death with the bottle. He shot his hand off, like he can't shoot anymore. The kid can't shoot anymore. So he will never become Al Denton. Right. And Mr. Fate just leaves town.
I liked how Martin Landau was in it too, and that was cool.
Martin Landau was a scummy like guy that made fun of Al Denton.
Sing your song.
Sing your song, drunk man. Sing your song, drunky boy.
Right, I am.
He was fantastic, wasn't he? Like, and it's like the interesting thing here is it's the Martin Landau character. It's very much a character, like the way his eyes go and everything. It's very reminiscent of the character in North by Northwest, right? It's right. A villain. He knows he's a villain, and there is nothing good about him in any way, shape, or form. And so I thought the episode was great. It works as a Western, and then it has the interesting thing that Mr. Fate can cause things to happen between the two people.
But it's the typical Twilight Zone that in that short amount of time, it grabs you.
Full story.
You're interested.
Full story. You get a full story at beginning, middle, and end. You get hope. This one has a little bit of hope. Like Twilight Zone episodes either end depressingly or they end with a ray of hope. Right. And this is a hope episode. The closing narration is Mr. Henry Fate, dealer in utensils and pots and pans, liniments and potions, a fanciful little man in a black frock coat who can help a man climbing out of a pit, or another man from falling into one. Because you see, fate can work that way in the Twilight Zone. Just the writing is so good. And also, if you watch, the writing is incredible. If you watch the episodes, Jerry, I'll tell you what I really enjoy that you don't get when you watch them on Sci-Fi Network or you watch them anywhere else, because they're running the episodes back to back together. The little segments where they go, and now Mr. Rod Serling. Right. And Serling's sitting there with a prop or something, and he just basically says, hey, thanks for joining us. Next week, this is going to be huge. I can't tell you what it's going to be. Ida Lupino. Ida Lupino's in next week's episode. Ida Lupino is in the next episode called the 16 millimeter Shrine. And that's next week's episode for everybody. Episode 4, the 16 millimeter Shrine. It's this. Now, here's the funny thing. This is one of the episodes that I had never seen before that I saw on January 1st this year, my 50th birthday. So I'm ecstatic. Are you gonna watch it next week, Kyle?
I'm gonna try and find time.
Toilet time.
I feel like you're lying to me. Let's see. I saw ISS, Beekeeper, and Poor Things this week. ISS was bad. Beekeeper was fine for what it was, and Poor Things is genius. Let's see. Sits with Kyle in detention. Didn't watch either. Did you? Laugh out loud. It was really good. All of you people that didn't watch it should go and watch it right now. It was great. Are you saying ISS was great or the episode? I think she's saying the episode. I think she's saying the episode.
The episode.
They saved each other. Yeah, it's a nice episode of the Twilight Zone. And like we were talking about, Jerry, right? Sometimes it ends poorly.
Yep.
Sometimes it ends positively on an up note. This is a good one because the kid doesn't he doesn't become Al Denton, and Al Denton escapes from being the town drunk. So it's a nice end. The end prop was really intriguing. Yeah, the little I think what you're talking about, Missy, is the little canister that held the serum in it. It was really neat. It was like a screw bottle that looked a little bit like in shape like a salt and pepper shaker, right? And then it was like tin. So it was really neat. And the great thing is they have this big, huge, like not a shoot up, but like in the little saloon, they have like a draw thing. And Al takes the drink and the kid takes the drink, and they both notice at the exact same moment that they have the elixir from Mr. Fate. And so they both, like, they quick shoot, and then they both hit their hands so they can never shoot again. So it's a really cool episode. Now, I can't wait for next week's. The 16 millimeter Shrine it's the most, it will be, of the episodes we watched, I think it's the most surreal ending. It's got like a Sunset Boulevard vibe to it. Laugh out loud. Ask me how many TED episodes you watched this week. I would assume you watch all of them because they're all available now on Peacock.
I didn't watch any of them. Although I do got a bone to pick with you, young man.
Me?
Last week you came on here and you were Traders is on. They're dropping 3 episodes a week. So Saturday night we started
to watch it.
They lied to me too. Saturday. And then we watched 2 on Sunday because there were not 6 available after the first 2 weeks there. Sir.
Yeah, I know, Kyle. They lied to me too. I thought it was 3 a week. I'm sorry, Kyle.
I was hurt. So hurt I couldn't watch Twilight Zone.
You traitor.
Just so we're clear, how good has the Traders been, by the way? Just like,
oh, I fucking love it. I didn't want to start watching until they all dropped because now I'm just like, come on, get to Thursday.
Let's go. Well, and it's like it's really good, and it's quite hot. Like Survivor has always been my favorite, but this is quite hot. Like this game is so dense, and just watching. I told you, like, and it's not a spoiler for anybody, but if you haven't watching Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight boxing champion of the world, who is a skilled professional boxer / amazing champion, incredibly athletic. Watching the game rip him to shreds is both the worst thing And the absolute most amazing thing. Let's see what we got. You guys are awesome. Great episode. Appreciate you all. I have to catch up on season 1 of Masters of the Universe Revolution before Thursday. That's another thing that's happening this week. This week at theaters, I think it's going out wide. Origin, which is an Ava DuVernay movie with Angelina Jean Ellis, didn't get a lot of Oscar love today, but it's apparently a really good movie. Also, The Zone of Interest is coming my way, so there will be a Zone of Interest and Origin review this week. Let's see, Jerry W. There's a new show coming out called Deal or No Deal Island. They have a teaser 15-minute thing that is dropped. They have to check out the rest of the other episodes starting in February. Yeah, Boston Rob I saw, so I'll be there. I like Boston Rob. He was a Survivor winner twice and met his wife. Wow, such a great show. Still like the UK version, but knowing the celebs is just so funny. Yeah, you know what? The UK version is interesting because it's just regular people. The celeb version of America is funny because it's, you have all these like clusters of like the Housewives working together and the Bravo people working together and the Big Brother people working together and this, it's batshit insane. And then there's that Kevin kid who just looks so dumb. He's from Bling Empire, I think it's from. He is a fucking idiot on every conceivable. Like every time he eats or does something, I just look at him and go, "There's nothing going on. There's like a wheel on a hamster up there." Who doesn't like Boston Rob? See, Raven, you're my people. Okay, it's a great place to end. Jerry, you got any shows coming up? What's going on with you? Anything Slapjaw related? You want to talk about any upcoming collaborations on TikTok that are going to break records?
We'll see. Nothing coming up, though.
Where can people find you online, Jerry? Where can people find you online, Jerry?
Slapjaws on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Okay. Anything you're looking forward to this week? Anything you want to see or watch or do anything? Except the new Twilight Zone episode?
Twilight Zone episode.
There you go. That's my kind of guy right there. Kyle, where can people find you? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm not looking to kiss JW's ass like Jerry down there, but
no.
Definitely am looking for the Royal
Twilight Zone as long as he has. Just saying.
That is true. That is very true.
But I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble this weekend, definitely. I'm looking forward to my one episode of Traitors that I could watch, not 3 like someone promised.
I'm so sorry.
And I got excited for the Bad Batch final season. Some info got released. Kind of happy about that. And also saw some of the titles for Ghosts season 3. The Owl, Man of Dreams. So I was just trying to figure out, February 15th, that show starts back up. Excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Almost every show in American life that everybody watches on all the networks and everything is coming back in February. And it is just going to be a glut of stuff to watch because of the writer's strike and the actor strike. Everything's going to kind of get dropped into February, especially after the Super Bowl once football's over. Oh, by the way, just so we're clear, I hate the Chiefs. I want the Chiefs to go away so badly. They get every call. I hate them with the red hot passion of 7 sons. They can go away. Okay. The Ravens can go away.
Nobody cares about football in our chat room.
I don't care.
Everyone has told me very clearly no one cares about football.
Lions.
The only highlight
Go Lions. The best story of the year if they make it.
Partying with the Bills fans. That's the only thing that was good about this weekend.
They're making pies this week. Excellent. As long as it's not pumpkin. Okay, I watched Founders Day this weekend. It's an awesome slasher fic. Y'all should see it. We didn't get it. I didn't get it at my theater down here. So I was looking for it because I like slasher movies. So it's not April 27th, but anyway, Ferry Market in Scranton, Moon Tavern. Raven, this is a perfect opportunity. Get me information on your Ferry Market. Get me information and whoever's running it. And we'll have them on if they want to.
She was in the chat here.
Who is?
Vicky, who was in the chat here, is running it.
Well, then we should have her on to talk. Waiting for What We Do in the Shadows. Last season of What We Do in the Shadows. We're still looking for vendors. If anyone's a vendor, we'll be happy to help. Go Lions. Yeah, there you go. Sports. Also, just so we're clear, our couple things coming up. Hold on, I gotta find it. God damn it. Not prepared. I hate not being prepared.
MegaCon in Orlando?
Yeah, that's one of them. We're going to talk about that in a second. But it's more like just not being prepared in general for life sometimes. Sometimes life kicks you.
Comic-Con in February in Dixon City?
Okay, yes. Hold on. Just give me a second. Will you? Just relax.
I'm trying to fill dead air here for you. Jesus. I'm trying to help you out, and you're sitting there crying.
Talk amongst yourselves. Upcoming on Generation Movie next week, we're doing One Night in Miami. We're finishing up our female-driven movies. Paul kept JW on track. That's interesting. That's an interesting statement on so many levels. So many levels. Dead air sucks. Thank you, Joe. But this is one of the more interesting comments we've ever had. JW kept on track by Paul. That's great, Jasper. That would be great if Paul showed up every once in a while. But I'm sorry.
Jesus, behave.
Be
nice. Be nice.
We have one night in Miami
I
coming up
Paul
next
show
week.
up and lay the smackers down on your candy ass.
He'll come and go. I didn't watch anything. It'll be just like you. It'll be the same thing. I didn't watch anything. Also, True Detective is getting interesting. But we have MegaCon coming up. We are going to be at MegaCon. I'm going to be at MegaCon February 1st
shit,
and 4th.
I think I said that already.
You did. Also, if you're creative and have a new indies movie trailer or commercial, email it to us. We'll play it on an upcoming Indie Escape Network show. Also, we have Hong Kong coming up in Daytona Beach. That's the week after MegaCon. And also, next week, along with Dave Romeo, we will have two new kids with us that are going to be on the network who will start their show sometime in February. Harry Kornetsky and Morgan, his fiance, are going to be starting a couples movie film show. We'll have more information for you next week, but we're going to introduce them to everybody, the loud nerdy audience next week, along with Dave Romeo to talk about all your comics needs for 2024. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great week. Go see some movies. Last comments. Let's see. Too funny. Just gonna hide in shadows now. Eep. We'll see everybody next week.
Movies. I thought that was called OnlyFans, but anyway.
No, they watch movies as a couple. You're a jackass. Don't ruin it. They're nice kids. They're younger. It's a younger demographic for the network. Everybody have a great week. We'll see everybody next week.
We'll spoil them.
Thanks.